At the beginning of 2024, in the icy seas surrounded by the towering mountains of Norway, a luxurious yacht was sailing peacefully. On board were not one or two, but nearly 15 billionaire businessmen, all heading to the grand opening of a charity foundation. But suddenly, in the middle of the ocean, a woman fell overboard into the freezing water. A search operation began immediately. What was shocking, however, was that every passenger on that yacht was accounted for and unharmed. So who was it that fell into the sea? Did she fall accidentally, or was she pushed? Was this some kind of supernatural event, or the act of a cold-blooded killer? Let's find out. The story begins with a journalist named Laura, who had just arrived at her office. There, she met her manager, Rosie. Recently, Laura had been investigating a sensitive case where a girl was supposed to provide her with important information. But before she could, the terrorists drowned that girl right in front of Laura's eyes. This incident left Laura mentally broken and depressed for several days. Seeing her condition, Rosie suggested she take a short break. But just then, Laura received a new assignment to cover. It was about a major Norwegian shipbuilding company owned by a woman named Anna Linkstart, who had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. Her husband, Richard, was planning to establish a charitable foundation in Anna's name before she passed away. Anna had decided to donate all her assets to help poor cancer patients receive proper treatment. To celebrate the foundation's launch, Richard organized a grand party on his luxurious private yacht, inviting all his billionaire friends who had also pledged large donations. He also invited Laura, since she was an award-winning journalist. Richard wanted their foundation to make headlines around the world. Hearing this, Rosie allowed Laura to cover the event. Soon after, Laura arrived at the lavish yacht on a speedboat to collect news coverage. As soon as the guests boarded, they were asked to remove their shoes and socks and were given special footwear designed for the yacht. There, Laura met Dr. Mehta, one of Norway's most renowned cancer specialists and a close friend of Richard. He was also the family doctor now responsible for Anna's treatment. Among the billionaires, Laura felt slightly out of place. Then she noticed someone familiar. It was her ex-boyfriend Ben, invited as the event's official photographer. Seeing him irritated her at first, but she also felt a bit relieved to know someone she recognized. At one point, Ben teased her, saying, "Looks like there's still a bit of love left between us." Laura immediately replied, "No, there isn't, and there never will be." After that, one of the yacht's crew members began showing each guest to their private cabins. Laura got cabin number 8. Once she entered and settled down, the yacht finally started its voyage into the deep sea. The view was breathtaking, so Laura stepped out onto her balcony to enjoy the scenery. That's when she noticed someone smoking on the balcony of the adjacent cabin. The cigarette ashes and butts kept blowing onto her side, so she picked them up and tossed them into her dustbin. Meanwhile, the other guests were gathered in the lounge, chatting and laughing. Then Richard, Anna's husband, made his appearance and thanked everyone for joining the inauguration of his foundation. To surprise his guests, he introduced a famous singer named Danny, who had just arrived late on a speedboat. Everyone cheered and welcomed him, while Ben continued taking pictures of the entire scene. After the mingling, Richard invited everyone to the dining table for dinner. Laura returned to her cabin, dressed up, and headed out for the meal. But on her way, she noticed Ben walking to the dining area with another woman, showing her the photos he had just taken. Feeling awkward, Laura quickly slipped into the nearby cabin, number 10, right next to hers. Inside, she saw a woman who looked startled and immediately rushed into the bathroom. Realizing she had entered the wrong room by mistake, Laura apologized, but the woman didn't respond. Feeling embarrassed, Laura left and joined the others for dinner, where an array of expensive dishes had been served. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves immensely. Then Laura went to meet Anna, the woman suffering from cancer and the founder of the foundation itself. Anna told her, "I asked you to come here because I want people from all around the world to contribute to this foundation, so that no poor or helpless person is deprived of proper medical care." As she spoke, Anna suddenly started coughing violently. Laura tried to call Dr. Mehta, but Anna stopped her, saying, "No need. I've stopped taking my medicine. I don't want to fight cancer anymore. I know I won't survive. But before I go, I've written a speech for the inauguration of this foundation. Please read it and tell me how it sounds." Laura began reading the speech and discovered that Anna had planned to donate all her wealth to the foundation on the day of the inauguration. Not only that, she also intended to hand over control of the foundation to someone far more deserving than her husband Richard, someone whose true purpose in life was to help others. Anna said she wanted to discuss the matter in more detail with Laura the next day. For now, she placed the speech inside a book and politely dismissed Laura. As Laura was heading back to her room, she ran into Ben again. From his behavior, it was clear he still wanted to rekindle their past relationship. But Laura showed no interest at all. That night, when Laura finally fell asleep, she had a terrifying nightmare. She saw the same girl who had been drowned right before her eyes months earlier. The horror jolted her awake. Just then, she heard a scream coming from cabin number 10, the room next to hers. It sounded like a woman was being attacked. Laura rushed to the balcony to hear more clearly and was shocked to see someone throw that very woman off the balcony into the dark sea. She even noticed bloody handprints smeared on the railing. Alarmed, she immediately called the crew and reported what she had seen. Within moments, the yacht stopped and a search operation was launched. The crew contacted the Coast Guard and security personnel began scouring the area. When they found out the fall had occurred from cabin 10, everyone was baffled. Soon all the guests gathered on deck, fully awake. But what stunned them most was that every single guest was safe and present. So, who had fallen into the ocean? Richard arrived at the scene and asked Laura, "Are you sure someone fell from cabin 10? Because that room has been empty the whole time," Laura insisted. "Please believe me, a girl fell into the sea. There are bloodstains on my balcony railing." She took everyone there to show them, but the blood had mysteriously disappeared. Trying to prove her claim, she checked her dustbin to show the cigarette butts that had blown in earlier from cabin 10, but those were gone too. Everyone began to think Laura must have imagined the whole thing, perhaps a nightmare caused by her trauma. Poor Laura tried to convince them, but no one believed her. That night passed in confusion and fear. The next morning, Laura tried to contact her manager Rosie to discuss everything, but she noticed the internet wasn't working. When she asked a crew member to check, he explained that there had been a system issue and the connection would be restored soon. Talking to him triggered an idea in Laura's mind. If none of the guests were in cabin 10, maybe one of the crew members had gone there. She immediately went to Richard and asked to speak to all the crew. They were called to the deck, but each one confirmed they were present and accounted for. No one was missing. Frustrated and exhausted, Laura began to lose hope. Then Dr. Mehta approached her and said, "Miss Laura, you're overthinking. I heard that a few months ago you saw a girl killed right before your eyes. Perhaps those terrifying memories are making you imagine things helpless and disheartened." Laura left to see Anna again, since Anna had planned to discuss her speech that morning. But when Laura reached her room, Anna weakly said, "I'm sorry, Laura. I'm feeling very sick today. These medicines are making me weaker every day. We'll talk about it later." Saying this, Anna left the room. After that, Laura went to meet Ben once more. She kept insisting, "Ben, I swear I saw that girl in cabin 10 yesterday. I even spoke to her briefly, and later that night, someone threw her into the sea. I heard the splash myself." But Ben didn't believe her either. He tried to calm her down, saying, "Laura, you must have been mistaken. It was dark. You probably imagined it. Just forget about it." But then Laura suddenly remembered Ben had been taking photos ever since he boarded the yacht. If they checked his pictures, maybe that mysterious girl would appear in one of them. Laura immediately started going through all of Ben's photos. She could not find the girl in any of the shots taken on the yacht, but in a few pictures from a party 2 months earlier, she spotted her. Laura told Ben, "This is the same girl I saw in cabin 10. Where did you take this photo?" He said he had attended a party hosted by Adam 2 months ago. The girl had been there, and he did not even notice when she ended up in his camera frame. Laura took that photo straight to Richard and explained everything, saying she had seen the girl in cabin 10 the previous night. Richard called Adam to ask if he knew her. Adam looked at the picture and said he did not recognize her at all. He explained that he invites hundreds of people to his parties and many bring 2 or 3 guests of their own, so he cannot possibly know everyone. Laura became irritated, and Richard tried to calm her. He said, "If you want, I can look into this further, but for now, please do not stress. This party is important for all of us. I want everyone to enjoy themselves. Do one thing. Go to the spa and get a body massage. You will feel better." Laura went to the spa and started a massage. Later, while she was showering, someone appeared, wrote "Stop" in front of her, and ran off. The message was a clear warning not to dig any deeper. Laura rushed out to look for the person, but could not find anyone. At that exact moment, Adam stepped out of the room opposite hers, which made her suspicious. Luckily, there was CCTV on that corridor, so she went straight to the control room to check the footage. The control manager told her that during high-profile events, they keep the cameras turned off to protect guest privacy. Poor Laura once again got nothing useful. Disappointed, she returned to her room to finish her shower. Then she noticed strands of her hair getting caught near the drain. That sparked an idea. If the girl in cabin 10 had really been there, she would have showered too, and some of her hair might be trapped in the bathroom drain. Taking a risk, Laura climbed across from her balcony into cabin 10. After searching for a while, she found several strands of hair in the basin's drain line. She collected them and went to Ben. "See," she said, "I found this hair in cabin 10. If that room was empty, where did this come from? I am telling you the truth. It belongs to the girl who was thrown into the sea." Ben understood her point, but still advised caution. "Look, we cannot go anywhere while we are at sea, and this is not the time to pick a fight with billionaires," he said. "They have powerful connections and can do anything. I promise, once we dock, we will go to the police together and report everything. For now, please stay calm." But Laura simply could not. Later, during a meal with everyone, a man named Jimmy noticed Laura's discomfort and tried to console her. When Laura asked how he knew Richard and Anna, Jimmy said he was wealthy himself and owned a software company. He had built an AI face recognition system for Richard, and Richard had invested a lot of money in his company. At that moment, Anna arrived, and Richard addressed the guests, talking about how beautiful his life had been with her. He praised Anna with pride. Anna, too, was happy that, after her passing, hundreds of poor patients would receive proper treatment and offer prayers for her. That night, there was a small music session. Danny sang a few songs and then asked Anna to sing the song she had performed on her last birthday. But Anna was very ill, so she did not sing and quietly left. The next morning, when the yacht reached the middle of the sea, several guests took a small speedboat to cruise around. Using that opportunity, Laura slipped into the staff room out of sight. She showed the girls' photo to the crew and asked if any of them had seen her on board. Every staff member answered no. Still, Laura left the photo with them and requested that they show it to others and ask around. On her way back to her cabin, she ran into Dr. Mehta. The sight of him made her suspicious. She hurried to her room and found the cabin door open, which made her think Dr. Mehta might have been inside. Laura quickly placed the strands of the girl's hair safely inside the pocket of her jacket. Just then, she noticed a button lying on the floor, which deepened her suspicion that Dr. Mehta had indeed entered her cabin. Soon, all the guests returned to the yacht from their sea trip. Watching from the upper deck, Laura observed everything carefully. She saw Ben taking photos of a woman on the main deck, while the captain looked down from above, overseeing the entire yacht. When everyone went back to their rooms, Laura didn't notice that someone behind her was secretly watching. Before she could react, someone shoved her hard from behind. Laura fell, but fortunately, she landed in the swimming pool. The mysterious figure quickly shut the pool cover, trapping her underneath to drown her. Luckily, Heidi, who was nearby chatting with her group, saw it happen and pulled Laura out just in time. Laura gasped for breath and shouted to the captain, "Did you see who pushed me?" But he replied, "Ma'am, I went inside before any of this happened." No one believed that Laura had been attacked. They all assumed she had simply slipped and fallen. Then Laura noticed something. One of Dr. Mehta's shirt buttons was missing, the same type she had found earlier on her cabin floor. She confronted him immediately. "Why were you in my room? I found your shirt button on my floor. I'll show you right now." But when she rushed to retrieve it, she discovered that her jacket had already been sent for laundry. She frantically searched its pockets, but the packet containing the hair sample and the button was gone. Someone had clearly planned this. Someone was trying to silence her. Furious, Laura turned on Ben since he was the only one who knew about the hair evidence. Ben repeatedly apologized, explaining that he had only told a few people she wasn't crazy and that she had proof, a girl's hair from cabin 10. His intention was to defend her, but his words had made her evidence disappear. Laura stormed back to her room, fuming. Meanwhile, singer Danny, seeing the rising tension and rumors of murder and assault on a journalist, decided to leave the yacht. He was already entangled in several drug cases and wanted no more trouble. His sudden departure turned everyone against Laura. They started blaming her. "Because of your madness, Danny left. You're ruining the fun for everyone." Laura was shocked. "Are you kidding? Someone tried to kill me, and you're blaming me instead of questioning Danny?" But nobody listened. They told her to stop with her wild stories. Defeated, Laura sat alone in her cabin. Suddenly, someone knocked on her door. Nervously, she opened it and saw a figure running away. She followed immediately, chasing the person through narrow corridors until they reached the engine room, away from everyone else. and there, Laura froze. In front of her stood the same woman she had seen in cabin 10, the one she believed had fallen into the sea. The girl said, "I'm alive. Stop digging into this or they'll kill you too." Laura asked, "Who will kill me? Who pushed me into the pool?" But the woman remained silent. During their struggle, Laura ripped off the part of her disguise, and to her horror, she realized the girl was Anna herself, wearing a wig to conceal her identity. Shocked, Laura cried, "Anna, why would you do this?" But Anna, enraged, struck her hard and knocked her unconscious. She then dragged Laura to a deserted storage room in the lowest part of the yacht, locked her inside, and left. As the yacht neared a Norwegian port, Laura finally regained consciousness. She tried desperately to escape, but couldn't. Confused and terrified, she wondered why Anna would do this to her. Then everything started making sense. When Laura first met Anna, she had said she'd stopped taking her medication and didn't want to fight cancer anymore. She had even mentioned wanting to discuss her will the next day. Yet, the following morning, Anna claimed she felt weak because of the medicine. The contradiction haunted Laura's mind. Anna never discussed the will with her at all. Even when Danny asked her to sing her favorite song, she could not sing a single line. What does that mean? This woman was not Anna. She was someone else posing as Anna. While Laura was piecing this together, the fake Anna came to see her. Laura pleaded, "What is going on? Who are you? Where is the real Anna?" At last, the imposter opened up. When Richard learned that his ailing wife Anna planned to donate all her assets to the foundation and would not give him any position in it, he used Jimmy's AI face recognition software to find a woman who looked exactly like Anna. That woman was Carrie. Carrie was very poor and had one daughter. She was struggling to give her child a better life. Richard approached her and offered a large sum of money. In return, she had to cut her hair, wear a wig, and impersonate Anna. She would then sign the will not to donate everything to the foundation, but to transfer the assets to Richard instead. For some money, Carrie agreed to play the role in front of everyone. Hearing all of this, Laura warned her, "Do you really think Richard will let you walk away after you sign everything over to him? Believe me, he will kill you too. He will not leave any evidence of his crimes." Carrie admitted she feared the same. And here, the main mystery unraveled. The night Laura saw someone fall into the sea, Carrie and Richard were in cabin 10 practicing how to present themselves as husband and wife. Suddenly, the real Anna, Richard's cancer-stricken wife, walked in and saw them together. Shocked, she began to scream. To silence her, Richard killed her and threw her into the ocean. Carrie understood that anyone who stood in Richard's way could be eliminated. She had no power to stop him. She locked Laura in again and went straight to meet Richard. Richard was on deck chatting with his friends, acting perfectly normal because they were close to shore. He treated Carrie so warmly that no one would suspect a thing. Then an extravagant fireworks show began, lighting up the entire sky. In the middle of the celebration, Ben noticed that Laura was missing. He went to check her cabin and saw Dr. Mehta coming out. Dr. Mehta told him, "Laura is very unwell. She just fell asleep. Do not disturb her." Ben obeyed but felt uneasy. Later, Dr. Mehta could not find Laura anywhere and informed Richard, saying he and the captain had searched the yacht. Richard could not imagine where a woman could go in the middle of the sea. Finally, he said coldly, "I do not care. Find Laura and kill her. I do not want any more problems." Hearing this, Dr. Mehta panicked. He said, "Look, I gave Anna an overdose so her death would come quickly. She would have died anyway. But I cannot kill a healthy young woman like Laura. I am not a killer." Richard reminded him how he had helped the doctor with a lot of money 3 years ago. Cornered, Dr. Mehta reluctantly agreed to follow Richard's order. Carrie overheard everything. That night, after Richard fell asleep, she rushed to Laura. She told her, "In 2 hours the yacht will reach shore. There will be a ceremony to hand the property over to Richard. The doctor and the captain are searching for you to kill you." Laura told Carrie, "The moment you step off the yacht, go straight to the police. They will protect you." Carrie refused. "If I do that, the police will arrest me as an accomplice to murder. I will lose my daughter. Please make another plan." Laura devised a sharp plan and told her only this: "Remember one thing. Until you sign the will, Richard will not harm you. I will reach you before the signing and get you out. Do not worry." Reassured, Carrie left. One by one, all the guests gathered on deck as the yacht drew very close to shore. Among everyone, Ben was still deeply worried about Laura. When he tried once more to check on her, a crew member stopped him and said, "Dr. Mehta gave her sleeping medicine. "She's exhausted, please don't disturb her." Meanwhile, Dr. Mehta had been searching the entire yacht and finally reached the storage room where Laura had been locked. But Laura managed to hide and escape once again. Around that time, most guests were boarding small boats heading toward shore. Ben suddenly felt uneasy. Leaving without Laura didn't feel right. So he jumped off the boat and went back to the yacht. By then, Laura had already escaped from the storage room. She went straight to Anna's cabin, took the written speech Anna had given her, and kept it with her. Then she tried to call the Coast Guard for help, but Dr. Mehta found her. Both he and the captain chased her down, determined to kill her. Laura tried to fight back, but she was outnumbered. Just as they were about to overpower her, Ben arrived to save her. He fought Dr. Mehta bravely, but the doctor had a syringe filled with poison. Before Ben could react, Mehta stabbed it into his neck. Within seconds, Ben grew weak. Still, he held the doctor back and shouted to Laura, "Run!" Laura escaped, tricked the captain, and jumped straight into the sea. She swam desperately until she reached the shore, where she found an abandoned cabin. Inside, she lit a small fire to warm herself and dry her clothes. As she sat there trembling, she thought about Ben, their past moments, his loyalty, and how he had died trying to save her. Meanwhile, Richard met with Dr. Mehta to ask what happened. The doctor told him, "Laura jumped into the freezing sea. She's surely dead by now. Her ex-boyfriend tried to save her, but unfortunately died in the process. I've taken care of his body." Hearing that, Richard moved to finalize his plan. He arranged a meeting with Anna's lawyers to change the will. At the meeting, the fake Anna arrived dressed elegantly. She told the lawyers, "I've made my decision. My husband Richard has always been by my side through my illness, and I've decided to leave all my property to him." The lawyers were surprised but couldn't object. It was her right to decide. So, in front of everyone, Anna signed the document transferring all her assets to Richard. At that very moment, Laura managed to sneak into the facility. But before she could act, Security Officer Georgie noticed her. Laura told him everything. The real Anna had been murdered, and this woman was an imposter. Georgie didn't believe her at first, so Laura showed him Anna's handwritten speech as proof. She promised, "I'll prove that Richard killed Anna, and this woman is fake." Meanwhile, Richard told Carrie to get ready for the ceremony. "During the event, you'll stay silent," he warned. "I'll give the speech, and you'll just stand beside me, pretending to be weak." Carrie agreed and went along. At the ceremony, Richard proudly praised his late wife Anna in front of the audience. Then he noticed Laura in the crowd, and his expression froze. Terrified, he began to stammer. Laura stood up, walked straight onto the stage, and said, "Anna wanted me to say a few words on her behalf." Richard panicked and ordered the guards to remove her, shouting, "She's sick, she's crazy." But Anna stopped him and said, "Let her speak." Richard couldn't do anything. Laura began reading Anna's original speech. "I, Anna Lingstad, granddaughter of George Lingstad, whose small boat workshop 70 years ago grew into this great shipbuilding company, do not wish to enjoy these riches alone. As I face terminal cancer, I have decided to donate all my property to the Lingstad Foundation for the welfare of the poor. I entrust this entire foundation to Norway's largest volunteer organization, where my husband Richard will hold no position." The room fell silent. Richard lost control and screamed, "She's lying!" Laura wrote this herself. It's not Anna's words. But from behind him, the fake Anna spoke up and said, "No, these are my words. This is what I truly want." Everyone gasped. Richard, furious and exposed, shouted at her, "I won't let you go. You'll never get away with this." The crowd stared in shock, unaware that the Anna standing before them was not the real one. Trying to end the chaos, Richard announced, "Let's wrap up today's event. Anna isn't feeling well. She needs rest." But Anna interrupted him, saying, "Don't worry, Richard. I feel perfectly fine. The ceremony will continue." Richard, now furious, snapped, "How dare you! You've started to believe you're actually Anna." That statement gave Laura her moment. She stepped forward and said, "If this woman isn't Anna, then where's the real one?" Richard had no answer. Panicking, he grabbed a knife and held it to Carrie's throat, taking her hostage and trying to flee the venue. The crowd was stunned, not understanding what was happening until Laura shouted, "That woman isn't Anna!" Richard killed the real Anna and threw her into the sea. Hearing that, Security Officer Georgie drew his gun to stop Richard. As Richard tried to stab Carrie, Georgie fired and hit Richard in the shoulder. But Richard kept fighting, forcing Georgie to lose his aim. At that moment, Laura grabbed a hammer from behind and struck Richard, knocking him unconscious. Police arrived shortly afterward and arrested Richard, Dr. Mehta, and the captain for their crimes. A month later, we see Laura writing an article dedicated to Ben, the man who had given his life to save her. The story of Anna's enormous donation went viral worldwide. Her fortune was now funding groundbreaking cancer research to develop a new cure. And with that, today's thrilling story comes to an end. How did you like it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed it, because thrillers like this don't come around often. That's all for today. Good night.